Hi, Warriors. How's everyone doing today? S&Ps have held exactly where they need to. Under last night's low, there's some problems. How you doing, Ingmar? Steve? Blake, how are you? Um, me? I'm okay. Hey, Mike, AJ, K-Man, Ryan, ADP in 15 minutes. Okay. Hi, Brand, James, Tim. Okay. So we get some numbers. It's great. So why don't we start off with K-Man today? Good morning, because
Morning, Dale.
he has to take off here pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm afraid I need
So
to do something. Yeah.
so what are you thinking um, this morning? You doing anything? We have a little bit of a bounce in cable and euro.
Mm,
Nothing really convincing.
no, no, not at all. We haven't made it above 115 on the euro dollar. Cable not even getting back to 131 on any bounce. It's okay. It's going to be the combination of ADP and then later the especially the ISM services, the employment component. Um, which will decide upon at least a decent dollar move. But if we don't get any worse numbers, yeah, cable is probably going to take out 130 for a look down to maybe, I don't know, 129.40, 128.90 is possible. That in case that those numbers continue to be good, the market this morning. And let's not forget we have Bank of England tomorrow as well. But we had better PMIs, but it didn't really do affect sterling much at all this morning. So nah, so yeah, sterling is still one that the market does not like. Euro, I think, could be a little more balanced if we get a worse number on the employment data. That's one that I think could at least put in a bit of a jump, thinking about maybe 115.40, 115.75.80. If the numbers
Mhm.
are really bad, that would be a start. So in between both, I would still think that perhaps euro is the better one to be long against the dollar, and where cable would be the better one to trade to the downside. We find the same thing back in the Aussie and the Kiwi. Even if the Aussie is also sluggish, the Kiwi is even worse. Kiwi is really weak.
Okay. Uh, Yen recovered from
Yeah.
153 yesterday. It's back at the wedge line.
Yeah,
Do you think it's worth a shot being short with stops over the high?
data.
Okay.
I think we've spoken about it in the flow show. We are still in this scenario. You had like one day, another day of dollar yen lower, and then we're nearly back to where we left it. It's still not a currency I want to be really long of myself. So that's rather the other side that I'm looking at. If the data are better, no, actually, you know what? Yen could be a binary thing on good or bad data in out of the US. Um, but yeah, we had some comments out from the foreign exchange man in over in Japan, and bit of yeah, not in line with fundamentals, but not really pushing hard against yen weakness either. So yeah, that one could be just a binary thing on the US data.
Okay. S&P's held exactly where they had to.
Yeah,
Check it out. There's that
yeah.
200 day on the 4 hour. It's a big number. Who thinks we're blowing off to new highs after holding the support level
Yeah.
here?
There were a few rumors out earlier that there could be some Democrats coming up with a plan to end the shutdown, but then I still saw that supposed plan would still comprise the extending the Affordable Care Act and I think that's still a red line for the Republicans. So I'm not sure that plan is going to fly. So for me, still the same thing. The longer the shutdown lasts, the more the risk is that we see deeper setbacks in the equity markets. Obviously, the opposite is true. If the shutdown ends, there may be a reaction, a positive reaction, of course, to it.
Yeah, I could say this. We take out yesterday's low, there's problems.
Mm,
And this is about a 200 handle move. So if we take it out, subtract 200, it takes us back down to I'm
mm.
going to raise tariffs 100% on China. And then if we ever take that out, this would be, 400 handles. So 400 handles under that, which is looking pretty far ahead, gets you 6,100 or so. So really, the lows we put in last night, I think, are the important part of the ball game. But look, I've seen so many of these just be pullbacks and then rally to
Yeah,
new highs that
exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm still would like to see a breakdown.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I think the shutdown could give you your breakdown, but will it be a breakdown or a slippery slope? That's
Well, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Directionally,
yeah.
be fine.
But
All right. Well,
you also know that the buy the fucking dippers are ready to step in on any shutdown end, right? So maybe the slope could be shallower on the way down than the spike on the way up if we get a solution.
okay. I just want to comment on one CEO who was on the air on CNBC, the CEO of Palantir. Okay, and he was very upset when he heard that the guy from The Big Short is shorting Nvidia and him, and he's saying, we're a good company. We have helped the average investor make money. The institutions mainly it's been so. What actually said was, it's mainly been retail buying Palantir for a long time because you say, well, them doing that are hurting average Americans who have made a lot of money being long Palantir.
Yeah.
And he was acting like a crybaby.
Yeah, what a
And
whinger.
yeah, and you know what? I mean, if you go back, it's still $200, but let's look at a monthly. So look, in 23 it was $10. Oh,
Yeah, what's
sorry,
he what's he
two
moaning
bucks,
about?
$2 about being attacked, and they're a good company because they're supported by retail. So he actually kind of gave away the trick. And I think it's true because when I went back to Chicago to see a friend of mine, his son, who's I think a millennial, was a real big Palantir fan. So when you think about it, this kind of run, um, maybe Burry's right. He'll really be crying at 140 if that happens. But
Yeah.
but it was kind of felt bubblish to me that the guy came on, hoping that the guy loses. And he talked about how shorts have lost a lot of money trying to short it, but he was very emotional and kind of a crybaby about
Yeah.
just one bad down day after what he said was a great earnings report.
You go
So
to market, you play the market rules.
that's right. So anyway, and what a great company for America. You know what they do? They spy on everybody. They came up with a program where they know where everyone is and everyone is doing, and it's going to be the backbone of people losing all of their privacy. Peter Thiel, I mean, Thiel has even made it to South Park. So there's a lot of I don't know what they do for the better good of people when it's really a surveillance company. Okay, so I thought it was interesting, and I hope Burry's right for at least
What else? What else did Barry say?
Burry's short Nvidia. 70% of his portfolio is short Nvidia and Palantir.
Woo. Okay.
So it's a big bet. I think that's also what shook. Uh, it's one of the only ones coming in lower, even with the recovery. So he should send his IR guy on TV because me think thy protests too much. Sometimes the best thing you can do is keep your mouth shut and say nothing. So I sure got bearish listening to him. Anyway, why don't we address Bitcoin? We finally got to that 100 level. Looks like it's trying to turn here. Most the mood in crypto is pretty negative, pretty bearish. Um, what if this is all there is to the collapse in crypto here, and we start heading higher? My biggest level is 92, because if you go back on the weekly, you have 92. Well, I guess it was a big level. 92 was a big level. But I still see people talking lower objectives. But I guess it was 92. That's where it failed. And then once it got back above 92, we had the rally to new highs. So
Michael
I,
Burry didn't
I
go short Bitcoin, did he?
who?
Michael
No,
Burry
no,
didn't go
no,
short Bitcoin, did he?
no. That's Chanos, who is short MicroStrategy. Is that it? And the guy Michael Saylor. Jim
Salem.
Chanos,
No,
Jim Chanos is short them.
Salem is very long Bitcoin, no?
Oh yeah, they say it's um and leverage long.
Yeah. We've got
So
2-3 minutes to the ADP, Dale. If you
Yeah, you want me to take over here?
yeah, good morning. Sorry, I just was left an impression on me when I heard the guy being a crybaby. Because you know what I mean? He's worth I don't know how many billions. And one down day, market not respecting one report, and he's out there, crying and hopes that Burry goes broke. Anyway,
Yeah, well,
interesting times.
PLTR, I mean, the stock's been on a hell of a run. All right, I'm going to put the dollar actually over here to the left. We have ADP coming out. It's going to be a pretty big number as everybody's waiting for, well, we've been waiting for data, so just having data all over the place. One of the things about the dollar index, I just want to zoom out really quick. If you guys look, we're right up against resistance.
Yeah.
This is the level from August, and we're pushed right up against it. So, strong data. We're going to be testing that level again. S&P is right in the middle. Yields are to the right. And then I'm going to put data flash right here. And yeah, so between this, we have ISM, as K-Man was mentioned a little bit earlier. Lots of things happening today. I don't know if you guys saw the mayoral races.
Yeah.
A lot of Democrats have taken some key cities. I don't think it's indicative of what's going to happen for the midterms, at least not yet. The market doesn't really care about it, but I think it does show you a bit of a shift. And I think you just need to be thinking about that. Like wow, is this going to become a trend as we go into next year? I think people are going to be looking at that. But I think that was a fairly big development overnight.
Do you mean if we have midterms?
If we have midterms, there you go. One of the other things we need to let me see. We got 30 seconds. One of the other things that we need to be conscious of is the shutdown. There has been some murmurings that there could be some a near term like stopgap funding. Possible. It's as we get into these the most we are in record territory as far as the most days we've been shut down. The voices are going to get much louder. All right, here we go. Data is going to be out in 1 second here.
Good. 42.
Good. Strong data. Did we get a revision? I don't see one yet.
Yeah, it was only down 4K. Well, sorry, better by 4K from minus 32 to minus 29. 3K,
Okay.
sorry.
So seeing a decent dollar reaction, not decent really. I mean the euro ticked down a couple
S&Ps
of
didn't
pips.
even move.
Nope, S&Ps haven't done anything. Yields are moving higher, so the dollar yen's getting a nice reversal.
This could be one of those it wasn't really bad moments rather than it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe the dollar responds just from that alone.
Yeah.
So,
The yen
yeah.
didn't do much.
But we're not seeing much of a reaction here, other than, like I said, yields are popping a little bit. No response in gold, Bitcoin. I'm just looking around at all the assets. I mean, uh, dollar Canadian still looks really strong. I'm enjoying being long that one. That's for sure. But that one's holding up the best right now. I want to say, as far as the dollar pairs go, the dollar CAD looks great. The Aussie and the Kiwi still look pretty weak. Dollar yen's had a really nice reversal last night. Hey, what was the? I was awake. I just wasn't feeling very well last night. I feel a lot better today. But there's the BOJ summary came out last night, and it pushed us, right to support. And by the way, these are my breakout points for the dollar yen. If you guys want to see them, all ForexAnalytix traders know it. There's the big triangle resistance that's held us, so we have to get above 154.50. But flip side is, if we get below this wedge support, which is basically the overnight lows, roughly, we get below 152.80, that's going to be a downside breakout. I don't care which way we go. I just think it's setting up to go either direction. So, but what was the BOJ saying last night? K-Man Ryan?
Nothing really. I mean, everything was known in that statement, that some were looking for to move faster and versus others. I mean, there was nothing really new in the Bank of Japan. But as we witnessed, there was a big shakeout of call it yen crosses or commodity currencies against most of the things, because we saw Aussie crap out, Kiwi crap the bed, dollar yen at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm. And in any case, we have been talking about it on the shows. I mean, for me, December is life, but December is still a month away.
Yeah. A
So
lot can happen between now and
yeah, exactly.
December's meeting.
All right,
And
gentle people, I need to call it a day.
oh yeah, K-Man, you're leaving. Anything
See you
else you
later.
want to leave us
No,
with?
not really, not really.
All right, very good. Well, have a nice day. We'll see you in the chat rooms in a little bit, K-Man, and thanks for joining us today. Um, so here's the euro, and just kind of like the downside target that I'm seeing is near 114. I have to admit, the euro is trading really, really heavy. I mean, what do you make of this move that we've seen in the euro, Ryan? I mean, do you sell it down here? If the ISM data is strong, everybody keeps betting against the U.S. economy, but look, I mean, the economy is holding up relatively well. If we have the services number that comes in strong, I mean, does this euro make a move for 114? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, think it could definitely head down. I mean, if you go into a bit of a shorter term chart, like an hourly or whatever, 115 is one of my big five for this pair. Look how long we sat on top of it coming into this week. Now we're below it. We can't get back above it. Keeps knocking its head on it. And yeah, I went a little short yesterday at 96, just after it held, and it's been holding since. But it's not going very far. Low 70s. Yesterday's low, what, 72,
Yeah.
73 is it? So it's technically, I think you got to look at this one. The 115 is your marker. If we can't get above it, we're going down. If we can get back above it, then this is just a temporary break. And yeah, the ISM could be the decider. If it's a good number, will it have enough in it to give it a real shove down? I think if you're looking to be long, if we get a good ISM and we can't break yesterday's low, that's going to be your signal. But then you've still got to get back above 115. But yeah, while it's below, it's looking a bit more bearish, and we could be heading 114. I think I've got level 114, 50, 55, and then obviously 114 the figure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Dale, S&P, what are you thinking here?
Well, we have to take out yesterday's lows. That's really the whole ball game for me.
Yesterday, meaning last night's lows, Asia's
yes,
lows.
that's
Okay.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So that would, I think, and 10 handles under that takes out the wave 4 low in October, which would be negating the bullish count to the upside for new highs. So we're at the level where the bullish count is being tested on Elliott, and you take out the wave 4 of lesser degrees low, then you have the top. So I think under 67, 20, 10 on a close, we're going to 520 and then 120.
Got it.
If we hold it, we could
I
go to
closed out on my
70, 50.
S&Ps last night for about 150 points in Asia at 7 o'clock our time, Dale. Well, actually, it would have been about 6 o'clock your time. I closed out at 67.53, and I was short around 6,900. So I see what you're talking about here. I frankly, I think we're trading below the 38% retracement, and we're gonna revisit this downside, especially if we get a little bit of lingering today. So if you guys are in the Forex Analytics chat room, you know this was October 30th. This was last night. Even Michael Weissman's like, Blake, I thought you weren't feeling good, but you know, when money's on the line, I'll get in front of the computer, even if I'm not feeling great. I know Ryan does a lot of the same, because money doesn't get sick, does it, Ryan?
Nope, we do.
Yeah, right, exactly. All
It,
right.
it, it
Well,
can it can make you sick, and it can be a sickness
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
this
Okay.
that's
is
true. That's true.
this is true. This is true. All right. You know, Brian, I want to point out this dollar CAD, man. This thing's just on a rampage. I've been long since yesterday. I reestablished it. You know, I got out of it on Friday when I was leaving out of town, but I reestablished my position ahead of this breakout. But man, it's really broken out, and if crude oil continues to weaken, I mean, this thing could really launch this dollar CAD, you know, so we can complete this bottoming formation. It's like the
Where is it
wedge.
completed?
143.
Yeah, I could
You
see
know,
that. Yeah.
yeah, 143, and that isn't even. I mean, it's not like uncharted territory. You go this high to low. 143 is near the 618 retracement. So it all seems very, very doable. I would assume this is, this rising channel is going to have a little bit of a, it's being a little bit of a sticking point here on this rally as we're
Well,
coming into.
I was gutted because this was my trade last week. My order was 13 pips below the BOC low, and that's at my just ahead of my 38.60 level.
It
And
was a
then it's
great
rallied ever
trade.
since. I'm still long a bit from 37s, so I'm loving this. I think it's got the legs. If it needs to hold this 141 level now, and if it does that, then it's going to push on. But the big level is the 50 retracement of the whole of the year's move at 141.60 something.
Mhm.
And there's also a level right in there as well, an old level at 141.55. So that is 55.60 is going to be an absolute monster for the trend in itself and what this does next. I think if we break that, yeah, we're going to be 142 in a flash and probably more.
One of the things I learned long time ago, here, I'm going to just show you guys this. Let's pull up a volatility chart. Pull up the VIX, and I don't know if I have anything here. I do. So let's just let's zoom out, right? This is here's actually, you know what? Let's go to a weekly chart. So you can see the VIX, right? VIX looks like an EKG, for the most part. If you match up the dollar CAD to the VIX, you'll notice that every big spike up in volatility also, correlates with the spike up in the dollar CAD. So if we see, any type of volatility increase, you're going to see the dollar CAD respond. And so that's something that I always try to think about, just because when volatility is low, and dollar CAD hasn't done anything, if you get just a really really big move, like let's say the S&P trades down to 6,500 and volatility gets back into the low 20s, the dollar CAD is just going to be very responsive. You're going to see the dollar CAD probably push up towards 143. I think that's one of the catalysts that will help. So I am watching volatility, and volatility is going to increase, especially if we continue to be shut down. I think if as long as that shutdown remains, volatility is going to be on the rise. So, watch volatility. If it pop back into the 20s, I think the dollar CAD's going to respond. All right. Well, we have a few minutes. Ryan, what are you going to be looking at today? I know we still are waiting for ISM.
Yeah, that's going to be could be a bigger data point if there's a massive variation. Same thing we need to look at employment and prices to see what's going on there. But yeah, dollars looking okay at the moment. So yeah, it's just a case of can we continue? I'm obviously going to watch that euro dollar very closely, being a little bit short. Yeah, and I'll probably take a bit of profit off the dollar CAD if we get up to 140, 150s.
I mean, look at how big this resistance is. You got the 200 DMA right here. You've got this horizontal resistance, which is basically the high from August. We start breaking these levels, and it's going to be hard to stop the dollar. I mean, I wouldn't want to be trying to stand in front of the dollar after this basing pattern that we've seen here. That could I've been telling our room that the way I'm looking at the euro is we're going to be pushing towards 112. 112 is going to be the 38% retracement of this entire move. And if you think about like the positioning and everybody being long the euro targeting 120, probably makes sense that we break the 200 DMA, wash out some of the latecomers, the ones that were buying here in the teens, get them washed out, get long at 112 for the Santa Claus rally in equities. So I'm ultimately targeting 112 and 112.50 or whatever, and then I want to get long down here. Dale, we have just a couple minutes. You have any final thoughts here?
Yeah, I think you're too conservative on the downside target in euro. I think we go 110, 108.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to be
Nothing
sticking
wrong
my
with,
neck out down there.
yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with 112 and a half. I think Ryan and I talked about that number for a while. So
Yeah.
are you short euro right now, or are you looking for a pop to get in?
Oh, I'm short euros. I'm long dollar MEX. I'm long dollar rand. I'm long dollar CAD.
Okay.
And yeah, and
So
all
if you
those
were,
positions are all marked up in the
yeah,
Forex
show it.
Analytics chat room too. You
You,
guys can
do
see where
you
I'm.
remember when 109, 110 was your number when we were the other side?
What's that?
Dale,
Yeah.
109, 110 was his number
Yeah.
when we were down at 102s, 103s.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's right. When we were down here, Dale, and you were looking for up here, it's the thing about currencies is we'll probably look back 2-3 years from now and say, hey, the euro's at 115, just
Yeah.
like where we're at today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Would
you
just
look
be
at that chart, that's a lot of distribution up there.
a lot of distribution and a
Yeah.
false breakout. So I think that false breakout will lead to a breakdown, as I always say. And
Go into your blue trend line down there, Blake. Put an X on it. There you go.
yeah,
That
yeah,
one right there.
yeah.
Put an X. Put a P on it.
All
It's
right.
still
Pink.
the only major pair. I think one of the last major pairs that hasn't hit its 38.2 yet of the year's rally. Of the year's
Oh, is
year.
the euro?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to let it. You kind of got to let it hit. It's there. Look, I still think that the euro is going to 125, but I think we go to, maybe we go to 110 like Dale thinks, 109. Maybe we only go to 112. I think we go
Yeah.
here first before
Yeah.
going to 120, whatever it is we're going to. So anyway, it makes for a lot of great volatility and a lot of great trading. That is happening. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in our community that are doing quite well. So, make sure you take advantage of it. It's $1 for 10 days. Jump in the chat rooms. You can see what I'm trading. You can see what Ryan's trading. You can talk to us 15 hours a day. Be involved in a community and being able to talk to other traders. Just having conversations with everybody. Talking about what's moving. You know, why Bitcoin's going where it's going, why ISM is moving, the market. If you're not having those conversations with people in a safe environment where you're not going to get trolled, you're not going to talk about politics or religion, just be able to talk trades and markets with people, be inside our community. It's $1 to try it out. All right, Ryan, thanks for the flow show as always. And Dale, thanks for hosting us. Is your guest here?
Carl Setzer, are you here? I have Angie's partner and husband was going to do the interview today. Carl, are you around? Raise your hand. Say something. Type something. I
Carl.
don't see
Huh.
him. Carl's,
No.
yeah, and with a K, and I don't see him.
Oh,
I'll
Angie,
just,
you might be under Angie. Angie sets us in here, so you might be
all
under
right.
a
Well,
user.
okay. Well, all right. So
Oh,
that's
there you
him.
go.
That's him.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to promote. I'm not host. You are host, Dale. You're the lone hostess with the mostest.
Hostess cupcakes, Blake.
uh,
I know
so
you used to scarf those down
have
with a
you
glass
guys
of
ever
milk.
had a the ding dongs?
Yeah. Are you addicted? What are you going to show us?
If you go to Bouchon Bakery, this is I was here in
In
Napa,
Napa?
yeah, and
Oh,
they have these ding dong things. Oh my God, I think they're called OOOs, and they're just ridiculous. If you guys ever get an opportunity to get to the Bouchon Bakery, oh my God, you said ding dongs, and I'm like, we had one of those, and
yeah.
it's amazing.
Do they fax them?
They don't fax them over. No.
All right. Okay.
All right, guys.
All
How
right,
that gets
guys.
in.
Have a great
All right.
interview. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Ryan.
Good
Thank you,
luck for
Cheers,
Blake.
ISM
guys.
today, folks. I'll see you guys on the Morning Edge, which is our private show for Forex Analytics traders. I'll see you guys there in 45 minutes. All right. Cheers.
The place to become an ace. So, Carl, very nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. I've been talking to Angie for many years, and she comes here every quarter. We really have a lot to talk about today. Um, why don't we start with talking about the trade deal with China? We've had a breakout in the bean market, and I've heard commentary on this, and you're on the ground. Do you guys grow beans anymore? Are you growing stuff still, Carl?
Um, are we growing?
Yeah.
No, we're not farmers.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right. So you just
no, we're not farmers. We're consultants.
okay. I were you ever in your family or anything? Nope. Just grew up
No,
there and learned about the hedging side of the business to help people out to lock in profits on their crops. So, all right. Why don't we start with what your impressions are of the deal with China and what people are saying on the ground? Are beans being moved to China since the agreement? Because I heard it's only a promise.
Well, and that's really what it is. I mean, this is basically the framework for an agreement. We do not have a signed trade deal with China, and that seems to be a misconception that's going
Yeah,
out right now.
yeah,
Um, China was in and bought 3 cargoes of soybeans before Secretary Bessent announced that the framework had been agreed upon, and they bought 4 vessels afterwards. So we have a total of 7 vessels we've sold China. But the thing is yesterday they came into the Brazilian market and bought 10 vessels for December shipment and 10 vessels for January shipment. So
yeah.
the deal is, China is back to buying, but
The
the
volume's
downfall of that
lower.
agreement,
The volume's much lower than
yeah,
it would have. Yeah.
the overall volume is not where we were before we saw the trade deal,
Okay.
the trade
Before
war escalate.
before the trade war, China was coming, even though there was tension, they were still coming through and buying beans from the U.S. They were also buying from Brazil too, but this deal doesn't even get us back to, even if they fulfill it, to where it used to be.
Correct.
Oh,
And
okay.
that is the greatest that's the biggest drawback,
Yeah.
um, to the entire agreement is just that it really didn't give us more of a market share. Since then, now China this morning announced that they would be suspending tariffs on all U.S. products except soybeans. So we still continue. We have a lot of hurdles that we have to clear to get China's trade back to really where it was before we even consider building it, and that's going to be a little tough right now.
Okay. So, there have been stories, your boots on the ground, financial condition of bean farmers, uh, post-harvest. I mean, through the harvest. What are they? Are they in trouble? Are a lot of them going to lose their farms because of this? Is it
No,
causing? No, it's just going to
no.
be a lean year.
Well, the thing is, we don't know what kind of a year it's going to be because we just started the marketing year. China can come in and buy yet. We've seen rallies, in the market. So, we're really only, a month and a half into the new crop marketing year here. To
Okay.
say that we're not going to sell soybeans, this and that, there's a lot of groups out here really making the soybean situation worse than what it is. I mean, when you look at the balance sheets, Dale, you look at a U.S. stocks to use right now that 290 million bushels. We're in a rationing position on new crop soybeans. Um, so when we look at that, you got to ask yourself how much extra demand do you really need? And our export sales outside of China are up from last year. So bottom line is we're really not we're not behind on our soybean demand. We're only behind on our demand to China. Our crush is up, everything else is up on soybeans, and China is still buying. Like I said, we just said they were in the last week and bought some. So I don't see the publicity that this has been getting and how negative this is on the soy complex has been a little bit overblown this year.
Well, the market doesn't believe the negative story. I mean, this was a breakout long in the making on beans. So it was almost a 2-year base before we came out of here. Well, this low was, well, a year, August 24. And when we finally cleared these levels, it's a breakout till it's not, right?
Exactly, exactly. I
Okay.
think, and the thing is, soybeans were undervalued, but they would have been, I think soybeans were undervalued regardless if China was buying or not,
Right.
just from the simple stocks to use in the market balance sheets. Now, if we do start trimming demand, we have a different story. But We also have to remember that the USDA is going to update our balance sheets on the 14th, and that'll be the first adjustment in 2 months. We don't have to see our demand go up to create a bullish story in soybeans. We can leave our demand where it is. We could even cut exports a little bit, but if we see that yield start to drop, just a bushel per acre yield cuts our carryout by 60%. And we're already in a rationing position. So
Okay, so explain rationing to our audience. What to them rationing is, food ration,
yeah,
gas ration. What do you mean by rationing? Rationing
and
to who?
yeah, we see on our soybean carryout for right now, for example, new crop carryout, 290 million bushels. That's about a 4 to 5% stocks to use ratio. When we get that tight, we start to get concerns that we may deplete or cut our new crop balance sheets, our new crop carryout on soybeans too far. And so we need to cut back and ration out our demand. We need to slow demand, and you do that through higher prices, price rationing. You have to raise your soybean values or any product, really, any commodity. The price has to rally or appreciate enough to where demand starts to slow so you have adequate reserves.
Right.
We aren't really at that point yet. We have not rationed our demand. Our soybean crush continues to run at record values for biodiesel demand in the United States.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have a lot of buyers showing up for our product. Mexico buys quite a bit of soybeans from us. We've seen big global trade on the soybeans.
How about
Um,
Canada? Did Canada used to, and now they don't because of the trade friction?
we never really sent a lot of soybeans into Canada because they have such a large canola crop. So
I
we
got it.
really don't
Okay.
we really don't trade too many soybeans with Canada. We trade some corn to Canada, and Canada is still buying that.
Okay.
But our big trades with Canada, lumber, textiles, products
Right.
such as that.
Okay.
Vehicles is a huge one.
Okay. So when I was seeing all these stories about, 70% of farmers, they weren't bean farmers. They were rice farmers. They had different types of crops. And then we had another farm aid, which reminded me of that era when family farms were going away. Isn't there distress in other areas outside of where you guys are in the Midwest for farmers that are bringing in the wrong crop and they can't sell it? And what
Well,
would that be?
I'm not seeing. I mean, you can
So
sell
there's
your
no
crop.
duress in agriculture in the grain belt.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you have that every year. There's always going to be financial stress. There's always
Right.
going to be issues with crops. As
But
far as US,
it's not really, it's not widespread like a lot of these news stories have shown how widespread it is. Where there you would see a bunch of farmers saying, that this uh, trade deal ruined them. They can't move their crops. Some were just letting it go. And the input prices went up. So that was just maybe hyping the fact because there were a lot of people that voted for President Trump that were upset that now because of the trade war. Um, I'm just trying to reconcile what's out there on the media to someone who knows what's going on, and I'm hearing a different story from you, Carl.
I this is my opinion on it, Dale. It's a tough year. It's been a tough year. I mean, when corn is holding around, that $4 mark and soybeans were at $10, those are
Yeah.
below break evens for most people.
Okay.
What I would say is these reports of this, nobody's going to buy our crop. We can't get reverse. So those are so far blown out of proportion.
Okay.
And it's all back to the American Soybean Association. They have ran ad after ad that farmers can't get rid of their soybeans, and it's completely false. That is some of the most hyped up propaganda I have ever seen come out of an organization who, rather than try to help farmers or point out the real story, just really tried to make it look horribly negative for everybody and really kind of did the farmer a disservice. Is it tight? Yeah, it's tight in the country right now. I mean, it's, the trade war hurts. Imports have went up. Tariffs are hitting farmers.
Yeah.
But to sit here for a organization that is supposed to be representing and helping the U.S. farmer to just throw up their hands and say, well, there's nothing we can do about it. It really it's kind of a bad optic for them, but it really leaves a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of people who, like I said, those groups are supposed to be helping you.
Okay.
So no, I don't think it's as bad as what the media has said, Dale. I mean,
Okay.
crush plants are pushing for soybeans. We've got export sales taking place. It's
Yeah.
just
Sounds
not,
vibrant. Sounds vibrant to me.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it definitely a little bit of a fallacy there coming, in my opinion.
All right, so let's cover wheat. It finally looks pretty good too here, Carl. It's been basing. Look at this. I mean, you know it more than I, watching these prices all the time. I mean, this base started in 22, 23. It's like a 2, 3 year base, and we're starting to come outside. It looks like we bottomed, and we could be in for a run. Is any of this geo about the fear of maybe problems with Ukraine being able to get grain out if this war continues?
Yeah, wheat's been taking some support here. China, we got some problems in the China wheat crop. They've had excessive rain there. Getting the crop planted has been hard. They have some
Okay.
drownouts. There's some issues in their wheat crop. You are right. Ukraine, not only so much for not only so much for Ukraine wheat exports, but we're looking at the Black Sea on a whole, Dale. And when I look at it, this is one of the uncertainties is we get Russia keeps raising their production forecasts. They keep saying that they're gonna, that they're up to about 87, almost 88 million metric tons soybean crop right now. Um, Into that, you've got Ukraine putting out their crop estimates. There's some thoughts in the market from sources in the Black Sea that possibly quite a few of these acres have been double counted. Occupied areas from Russia, they're counting, but Ukraine says it's technically still theirs. So we're seeing some of that. Wheat really taking a lot of support from just global demand. And matter of
Yeah.
fact, China is shopping around for U.S. wheat again. They haven't bought any wheat from us in a year. So to see
Wow.
them come in and
Okay.
look at where they might want to buy some is definitely giving that complex some support.
Okay. I also heard that the grain belt in Ukraine had a drought going on too, so their supply wasn't as good. Um, how about running through corn, Carl, before we go? And we'll close with cattle and what the president's doing with bringing Argentine beef in.
Yeah, the corn market really kind of a follower right now. We're still trying to get a good handle on what we saw for corn production, corn yields this year. Um, there's some issues. We had some fungus issues. We had that southern rust that came up through the corn belt this year.
Yeah.
We also had tar spot. Some places in Iowa reports of corn yields down 70 bushels from last year. There's reports that some elevators out in Iowa just simply didn't fill up this year, that their corn crop was small enough. So starting to look at corn a little differently. The USDA and some of the private analysts still around that 185, 186 bushels per acre. The general feel is it's probably going to be a little bit closer to that 181, 182. For simple math, if we take 4 bushels per acre off the yield, we pretty much drop our production by about 400 million bushels. We start dropping that, and all of a sudden, carry out is still high if everything else remains steady, but we're back to a position where we're not at a rationing level like we are in soybeans by any mean, but we are at a point where you have to start watching, because corn demand is holding in there really good. Our corn, some of the cheapest in the global market, and it's some of the highest quality, and we can't forget about that. So we got to look at some balance sheets there. Corn not quite as exciting as the soy complex balance sheets, and that's why we've seen a little bit of a holdback there, Dale.
Okay, it's been a decent rally. I mean, it could correct, but I doubt we'll see 380 again. How about you?
I would, I'm pretty comfortable saying that obviously the harvest lows are in, and really the
Okay.
dynamics of the market have changed enough that if we go back to 380 something, it was a major black swan event to take us there. And obviously it's
Yeah.
pretty impossible to predict one of those, but with the fundamentals we have right now, that really seems it would take a stretch to get us there.
Yeah, it would probably take a real big deflationary move and things like a financial crisis because, people will sell their gold so they can eat, right?
Absolutely.
So I want to touch a little bit on this live cattle market. And, I used to be a runner on the floor of the CME. And now when I look at the kind of prices that we have in cattle compared to what I was used to when I first came into it, it's unbelievable. So it does look like maybe this move to bring in Argentinian beef is going to have some impact. I know I saw some cattle ranchers pretty unhappy with that. They like the balance of the market. Of course they would. Why would they want more supply coming into a market that is probably isn't it the most prosperous part of agricultural? Uh, the beef and pork markets more than
Yeah,
grain.
cattle have been extremely profitable for guys here. And it's good, our live cattle have really been up there, and we need it because our feeders have been so expensive. And I'm gonna start to the beginning, what got us to where we're at, Dale. And this really started about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We started getting some drought in the southwestern plains,
Yeah,
Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, down into Texas.
right.
Uh, we had 3 years of really heavy drought there, and a lot of ranchers culled their herds. They had to, just simply didn't have feed for them. Feed was expensive, couldn't get it. So we saw a lot of culling take place. That ended up cutting the U.S. beef herd down to one of the lowest levels we've seen in the last 50 years, where ranchers just tried to stay profitable. As a result, we saw live cattle start to take off, feeder cattle took off, and beef prices started to rally.
Yeah.
It's truly one of the purest markets for supply and demand that we've seen.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
there isn't as much government interference with subsidies and other types of programs as in grains. They don't have that type of intervention in the cattle market.
and and we really, the thing is, it's, the cattle, and it's like dairy. It's a perishable product. You can, we can, yeah, we have cold storage and we have freezers, but you have a product that the farmer can't throw cattle into a bin. You can't hold animals forever. They have
Right,
to move.
right.
And So the thing is, we had some consumer pushback on beef, and beef is expensive. The
Yeah.
thing is, President Trump, his statements on how he stated that cattle ranchers have it too good,
Oh
the
yeah.
cattle
Yeah.
market, those were the negative points. Because really, Dale, when we look at the bottom economics of it, and bottom line is we set a quota on Argentine beef imports at 80,000 metric tons. Um, that's going to come out basically a million metric tons of beef. It's on 80,000 pounds, you're talking about 170 million pounds of beef. Okay. We have suspended Brazilian beef imports, or not really suspended, but because of tariffs, that we priced them out of the market. We were importing about 450 million pounds of Brazilian beef per year. So the Argentine beef imports aren't even they're about a third of what we were importing from Brazil.
Okay.
It's
So
it's not the volume. It's not the volume.
got
It's
it.
the optics of it. The seeing, like you said, Dale, we have one segment of agriculture that was making money, cattle ranchers doing good, and the president tells them that they're making too much money.
Let me ask you, does that burn you when a billionaire says that some group of people have it too good?
Um, I want to know where Donald Trump was in the 80s when we were giving bull calves away because you couldn't sell them and make money on them. The sale barn had,
Yeah.
Donald Trump, and this isn't a political comment, Dale. This is a comment on policy. You can't regulate free markets. And the president is trying to regulate free markets with his comments about beef and the
Yeah.
supply. You can't do that. The biggest lashback is when you tell a U.S. farmer that he's making too much money, but you give $40 billion to a competitor of ours.
Yeah.
That is the final strike for a lot of farmers out here.
Wow. I'll tell you. Really was great to meet you, Carl, and glad that Angie had to be a mom today. I love talking to Angie, and you know what I have to say? How blessed you guys are to be, partners in marriage and business, and you know, enjoy what you do, and you're helping people that you probably grew up with. Um, the only thing I don't envy is the weather that you experience these blessings in. So, really a pleasure meeting you, and give my best to Angie. And it's great to see a team like you and Angie being able to make it. Do you guys ever argue? Huh?
Um, our arguments are different. When most families are arguing about who knows what, we're arguing over basis and spreads and
Yeah,
carries.
acreage. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's all business. So, Carl, great to meet you. Have a
And
great fall trading season, and you know what? Maybe next time you and Angie come on, and we could talk about how you guys were able to make it work to work together like this.
well,
Okay?
we'd be happy to do that for you, Dale. We'd look forward to it.
All right. So Carl Setzer, and here's their website, conusag.net. And you guys put out a letter or anything for people that have an interest in grains, any kind of writings? Because I know Angie likes to have people follow her. So you could follow these guys on X. Do you have a handle, Carl?
Yeah, mine is Case Setzer Grains.
Okay.
on
X.
X. And
Okay.
you can go to our webpage at consusag.net, and there should be a link on there. If you go under the consulting and commentary,
There you go.
either there or the contact, but you can either one. You can sign up for a free. There's your commentary. You can there's a subscribe page, and you can sign up for a free trial. We put out commentary 3 times a day. I put out an early morning market brief that goes out around usually by 8 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. We do an afternoon recap, and then Angie does a video during the day that she puts out on our YouTube channel and also on her TikTok. So we put quite a bit of content out for our subscribers. And like I said, feel free to sign up for a free trial. And if you like it, it's less than $35 a month. You can sign up for our content.
I think that you're going to be getting a lot more people from outside the industry having an interest because I think we're in an embryonic bull phase. I think the bear is going back into the cave to hibernate, and you talk about carryover not being great in beans, and I think that they're going to become an asset class that are probably more important than rare earth minerals. How about that? That people don't even realize rare earths are important, but there's nothing more important than being able to put food on the table for you and your family. And thanks for helping people. I've always thought farmers are the bravest guys. They have to go through all the uncertainty of planting and bringing in the crop, and then they don't know when there's bountiful crops, they don't get much for their work and their crop, and when there's scarcity and good prices, they don't have as much to sell. So you have to admire you have to admire people that stay in a business like that. They're risk takers, and an important function that I think America is going to come to appreciate more and more as we go down the road. Thank you, Carl.
You bet. Thank you for having us, Dale.
All right, thanks. So that's a wrap, everyone. Start paying attention to beans and corn and wheat, and this is a great resource for you guys to do it. I know you all have your charts, but you could get some great, as you heard today from Carl, great narratives to give you some ideas on where you may want to do a little bit of trading in ags. So that's a wrap. Don't just count your ears of corn or your bean pods, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Good hunting. You're welcome, Galaxy. You're welcome, Ingmar, to join the team.